Hi there, it's Catherine from 3Ps, and this video is about what's in my gym bag and what would be in your gym bag if you were lifting weights. So this is a basic guide to what the equipment you need when you go into a gym when you want to lift weights, whether you're going to go heavy or light, the basic things that you should have. So I've got with me here in my office the things from my gym bag. Literally, I've just emptied my gym bag out on my desk and I'm just going to go through what I've got. So first of all, what I have is some liquid chalk, and I'll show you what this looks like. It comes in a bottle and it as literally says what's inside. It says liquid chalk. Now, the question is, why would you carry chalk? Because most gyms have chalk. The answer is because the chalk that you get in the gym comes in a big bucket and it's loose. And number one, you're then dependent on the gym locating the chalk, and you can't guarantee that a gym will have it. Number two, it's because it's loose, it's really messy. You have to decant it into something. You end up having to use like a plastic cup from the water machine, and it's just, it's a faff. And number three, you get it all over the equipment and all over you and all over the floor. Much simpler and cleaner to use is liquid chalk. As I said, it comes in a bottle like this. The way that you use it, you give it a shake. You can literally open it. You put a tiny amount in your hand. Let me show you. No more than, you don't need more than that. Just rub your hands together. Now it works like magic. I'll come back to this in 2 minutes and you'll see that it's worked. So the first thing in my gym bag is liquid chalk. The next thing that I have in my gym bag is I do have a pair of gloves, but I personally don't use leather gloves. Let me just see if oh look, the chalk has worked. See, there you can see. Perfect. So I don't use leather gloves. The reason I don't use leather gloves is I find that they interfere with my grip, and that may be the fact that I'm a woman, or maybe that I'm just unusually sensitive, or just maybe that other people don't think about it or think it's macho to wear them and therefore don't or live with the fact that it affects their grip. I personally don't like to wear something which I feel actually means I'm gripping less firmly on the weight. So I don't use any form of leather gloves. And I tell you, I've tried everything. I've tried all types of leather gloves. I've tried neoprene. The same issue. The other thing I'd say about gloves is I also like to feel the weight. I like to feel it in my hands, and I am proud of the calluses I have on my hands, which I particularly get from deadlifting, from using an Olympic bar. But I think part of loving weights is loving the feel of the metal in your hands. So that's why I don't wear gloves. But I do wear gloves, for example, if I'm going to a gym that's very cold. I once trained, I went up to do some business in Manchester, and I managed to find myself a weights gym. And okay, it was a very cold day in Manchester. It was snow. There was snow on the ground, and I got to the gym early, and I was about the only person in the weights room. But every piece of equipment I touched in that gym was absolutely ice cold, and that is incredibly unpleasant when you're trying to lift. You're trying to stay warm if you're actually getting cold from the equipment. Now, I didn't have any gloves with me at that time, but since then I have acquired a pair of gloves that I use if the equipment is particularly cold. And the gloves that I use, bizarrely, you might think, are actually yoga gloves, and I'll show you what I mean. They're fingerless, and if you look on one side, they've got grip, so they've got rubber, so rather like riding gloves. They've got rubber grip points on them. That's great for gripping the bar, but as I said, I wear them mainly because it keeps my hands warm, so I'm working with cold equipment, so I always have those in my bag. I like the fact they're fingerless, which means I can still feel the metal, but they give me at least some warmth on a cold winter day. So I wouldn't be using these in the height of summer, but they're always in my bag if I need them. So we've talked about chalk, we've talked about gloves. The next thing I want to talk about are straps. These are my straps. Obviously I have two. Now, if you've not lifted weights before, not gone into the weights room, you may not have seen these. What they're for, some people think they're a fashion accessory. They're not. They assist your grip when you're doing a pulling movement with quite a lot of weight. If I demonstrate, you're either doing a machine where you have to pull something back towards you, or you are on a Smith machine, you're pulling something up towards you, or you're kneeling half on a bench and you're doing a pull of one dumbbell towards you in that movement. You're trying to exercise, generally you're exercising your back, and you're also using your tricep. Now, the back particularly, those are big muscles, and you need quite a lot of weight to get a good pump in your back. But your grip often will give out before you've exhausted your muscle, and therefore what you'll find is your grip is defeating your training, so it's not letting you train to the weight that you need to train. And the point about having straps is they help your grip so that your grip won't fail, so you can take your back muscles absolutely to the limit. Now, you still may find that your triceps tire, but you've got more chance of training at the right level for your back. So the ones I use are just the standard. You can get them, mine are Gold's Gym. There's no particular reason why they're branded. they're just the ones that I could find. They come in a standard size, and as you can see, look, they're adjustable, so they just thread in and out like this. And then the way you wear them is they go over your hand, and you just literally like that. You've got the one like that, and then this piece will come over the weight. When I do, and I'm going to do, I think next week probably, I'll do a back week, and I'll show you how to use these. They are actually incredibly useful. They're also very safe, so they're a good thing to have if you're looking to do any sort of weightlifting, to make sure you have a pair of these. These are good equipment to have. Okay, so that's the next thing I would have as an essential in my bag, and again, I carry those at all times. The next thing I have, which probably goes with the straps in terms of being for safety, is I do have a weight belt. Now, the one I've got, you see probably in the gym, you know, the classic meathead look is a guy wearing a pair of track pants, a vest with a racer back, that you probably see something like Pumped or Muscle or Gold's Gym on the front, and then they'll be wearing a weight belt, and they probably spend the whole workout wearing that weight belt, which is completely unnecessary and actually is counterproductive. If you have a weight belt, and you will need a weight belt if you're doing any form of, say, deadlift or heavy squat, it is only for the exercises where you're going to be putting a lot of load on your lower back. It's not generally a fashion accessory. You can wear it, but I think an experienced weightlifter will look at you and say, what a prat if you're doing that. My weight belt goes on only when I'm doing those sorts of exercises. What's the purpose of it? The purpose is to brace your lower back, so that when you are taking weight, you are much less likely to damage your lower back. It's not a substitute for good form. It's not a substitute for good posture. It's a support. And certainly when I'm, for example, deadlifting or squatting less weight, I don't wear a weight belt. I would only wear a weight belt when I know I'm really challenging myself in terms of the amount of weight. And then in that situation, I don't want to worry about my lower back. I want to concentrate on the exercise I'm doing. Now, the one I've got here, it's a neoprene one with Velcro. And so, in fact, the brand of mine is actually Ocelot. The reason I use this one is because, first of all, most of the leather weight belts are men's ones, and they don't come small enough. And second, I like the neoprene because I find it molds to the body better, and because it's with a Velcro strap, it's really easily adjustable. Because again, you come back to the issue of most weight belts are made for men, and therefore getting them small enough for women is quite difficult. If you're a man, you have much more choice. You can choose whatever you like. I still think, and the reason I got this Ocelot was a male friend of mine who used one, and I tried it and realised I could actually adjust it. So it's not wussy to have a neoprene one. I think they're very practical. And of course, the other thing about the neoprene one is they can go in the washing machine. So if you're doing a lot of weight and you're sweating, they're much more hygienic than have a leather one. So personally, I think these are a really good thing. So we've talked about chalk. We've talked about straps. We've talked about the belt you're going to have in your bag. When I do some more legs, and we do some more on the either the squat with the Olympic bar or the Smith, I'll talk about the weight rolls, but I'm not going to talk about today because I wouldn't normally carry that in my bag. That's special for legs day. But the other thing I do generally carry in my bag are these. This is a heavyweight elasticated rubber loop, and it's just a continuous loop. Okay. Now this one is, let me just check what the brand is on this one. This one is by Fitstream. You can obviously get all sorts of brands, and they come in different colours for different weights. You want the heaviest weight you can find. Now, why do I have this? I have this because I use it when I'm doing pull-ups. If I'm doing pull-ups and I don't have anybody with me to jump me onto the bar, because I am quite short, then what I do is this. If I'm doing pull-ups, I'll use a Smith machine. I'll have the bar quite high, but I'll wrap this round the Smith machine lower down, so I can actually get onto this. I get onto this band, stand on it, and then with this band in place, jump up onto the bar. I also use this if I want to do lots of negatives when I'm doing pull-ups. So rather than concentrating on the upward motion, if I'm concentrating on the downward motion, then I will stand on this loop, looped quite low down. I will jump onto the bar into this position, and then I'll let myself down very, very gradually. So it's a great way of controlling pull-ups. It's a great way of making sure that you take the stress on the negative rather than the positive pull-ups, because you're not just throwing yourself at the bar. You can get control, and if you want to, you can keep your feet on this all the way up and all the way down and just bend your knees. So if you're learning to do pull-ups and you can't actually do a whole pull-up on your own, this gives you a bit of support, because you put this near the bottom of your bar so that you can actually stand on it as you touch the pull-up bar at the top, and all you do is you take progressively less weight on your feet and more weight on your arms, so you gradually get better and better at pull-ups. So this, I think, is a really fantastic piece of equipment. When I use this in the gym, I can see people get very curious and think, God, I think, you know, my bag's like a TARDIS, I brought this out. But this is, again, one of the things that I essentially would have in my bag. Apart from that, I have always carry an extra padlock and key, because you never know, particularly when I'm travelling, and if I want to check out other gyms. And I quite like it when I'm going to other cities, other countries. I try other gyms. Then I always have this with me. I think one of the most memorable places I ever trained was in New Orleans, and I trained in a very rough part of New Orleans. And we now know from the floods in New Orleans that New Orleans is not all you know, bars and jazz. It's some very rough parts of New Orleans. But I was trained in a gym, a weights gym in New Orleans, and it had the most amazing view over the Mississippi, because it's right on the water. That's obviously where they had the issues they did with the flooding. But it was an amazing view. And one of the things I really appreciate when I'm travelling is to try out different gyms, try out different training spaces, because it makes my trip really measurable. And I know I'm a bit geeky, but I do remember cities often by the places that I've trained. So I'm encouraging you that when you go on holiday, take your gym bag with you and see if you can get a chance to do a bit of fitness tourism and try different places. So that's what's in my gym bag. That's the basics you would have in my gym bag. If I carried more, it would be massive. I don't lock that away. I actually carry that around with me, that and a towel. Always carry a towel. I know some gyms don't insist on it, particularly weights gyms. I think they think sweat is good. There are some quite nasty viruses you can get from sweat. So personally, I would carry a towel. I would also, if they got deodorizer, use that, because I don't want to sit in other people's sweat, and I think it's not clean. And I think also other people shouldn't have to get on a piece of machinery after you where you've been lying on it and sweating. So that's it for what I would take to the gym. Enjoy your next workout. Be prepared. Bring some of your own equipment, because it just means you're faster in the gym. But enjoy the workout most of all. Enjoy the setting, whether it's over the Mississippi or not. And I'll see you soon. Bye.